All right, buckle up. We're going deep into some seriously fascinating interviews, like from the Diary of a CEO YouTube channel, and they've got former CIA spies and other really interesting folks. We're going to break down how they see the world, the skills they use, and how you can use them in your own life.
Yeah, and it's not just skills, it's their whole mindset. It's like a blueprint to understand people, to understand psychology and how to be influential.
Exactly. It's like a master class in persuasion, how to read people, and maybe even how to spot a liar or two.
And the best part is this isn't just theory, right? These experts have been in high-stakes situations, so their advice is incredibly valuable.
Okay, so let's get right into it. What are some of the big takeaways we're going to uncover today?
Well, first, get ready to rethink your reality. We're going to explore this idea of the shed. It's all the societal stuff that shapes our thinking and how to break free from those limits.
I love that. It's like realizing the rules of the game are made up, and then you learn how to play by your own rules.
Exactly. We'll also look into how the CIA approaches persuasion and influence, like their secrets for understanding how people think, how to build trust, and even how to use this thing called the power of polarity to become a better communicator.
Power of polarity. That sounds interesting. Is that the idea that it's okay to be a little controversial sometimes?
It's a little more than just being controversial. It's about strategically embracing polarizing ideas to build a more dedicated following. Think Steve Jobs or Elon Musk. They weren't afraid to, challenge the status quo and have people disagree with them.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like you're not trying to please everyone. You're focused on the people who really connect with what you're saying. So what else is in store for our listeners?
We're going to uncover the hidden language of human behavior. We'll learn how to decode micro-expressions, understand those core motivations, and even spot a lie right away.
Hold on, we can really learn to spot a lie like a CIA agent. That's amazing.
It's not magic, but it takes a sharp eye and an understanding of psychology. We'll break down those little cues and behaviors that can give away someone's real intentions.
This is getting good. What else is on the agenda for this deep dive?
Well, be ready to challenge what you think you know about managing anxiety and even your approach to money and relationships. We'll look at how the CIA views anxiety as a valuable asset and how you can learn to control fear and use it to your advantage.
Whoa, so anxiety isn't always a bad thing. That's definitely a new way to look at it.
It's about understanding how to harness that energy and make it work for you. We'll also get into some unusual views on finances and relationships, even looking at the different money personalities people have.
Okay, now I'm really curious. Money personalities, what does that mean?
Let's say you're planning a vacation with your partner. Are they the worrier who needs every detail planned and every dollar accounted for, or are they a dreamer who's open to spontaneous adventures and doesn't mind spending? Understanding these different money personalities can prevent a lot of arguments later on.
This is great. It's like a crash course on those essential life skills they don't teach you in school. So where should we start?
Let's begin with the shed, the invisible structure that shapes, how we think. One expert uses this analogy to show the societal norms and expectations we often just accept without question. Think about things like those unwritten dress codes at work, or how we just naturally stand in line. These are all examples of shed rules.
Okay, yeah, I see what you mean. It's like we're all in this invisible structure that tells us how to act without us even realizing it.
Exactly. And the key is recognizing that these rules aren't like laws, they're made up, and you can manipulate them. Imagine showing up to a corporate meeting in a really bright, unconventional outfit. You'd stand out, maybe even disrupt those expectations in a positive way.
That's such a good example. So it's not about rejecting every rule, but about figuring out which ones are helpful and which ones you can, strategically break.
Right. And that leads us to one of the most powerful things we learn from these interviews. The difference between perception and perspective. This is something they really focus on in CIA training, and it has big implications for how we navigate life.
All right, I'm ready to have my perception shifted. Break it down for me. What's the difference between perception and perspective?
Perception is your own, individual view of the world, what you believe is true based on your experiences and what you already believe. It's like you're looking through your own unique lens.
So it's like I might see a situation one way, but someone else might see it completely differently because of their own background and experiences.
Exactly. And perspective is the ability to step outside of your own perception and consider how other people see things. It's like putting on someone else's glasses and seeing the world through their
This
eyes.
is important. This is like, if you can understand how other people see the world, you can talk to them better and avoid, misunderstandings. But how do you actually do that? How do you develop that perspective-taking ability?
One technique they use a lot is called mirroring. It's basically subtly reflecting the other person's body language and how they talk to create a connection. It's not about copying them exactly. It's more about creating a subconscious link.
Mirroring. So, like, if they lean forward, I should lean forward too.
Yeah, it can be that simple, but it's also about matching their energy and tone. If they're speaking softly and slowly, you wouldn't want to come in loud and fast.
Okay, makes sense. It's like you're creating a feeling of harmony and understanding through those subtle, nonverbal cues. So mirroring is one way to build rapport. What else did these CIA folks share?
They have this framework called SAD-RAT, which stands for smile, acknowledge, defer, rapport, ask, and trust. It's a step-by-step process to connect with people and make them feel comfortable enough to open up to you.
Okay, essay diarrhea, got it. I'm gonna have to write that one down. So this is like a cheat sheet for building trust and getting people on your side. And it starts with something as simple as like a smile.
Exactly. A genuine smile can be incredibly disarming. It shows you're approachable and not a threat. And remember, these tactics have been used in like seriously high pressure situations. So if they work for CIA operatives, they can definitely work for you in your daily life.
That's awesome. Even CIA spies use basic human connection tricks.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got smile and acknowledge. What about this defer thing?
It means acknowledging the other person's power dynamic. You let them kind of lead the conversation, at least at the beginning. Makes them feel heard and respected. It's not about being submissive. It's about letting them feel in control, initially.
So is it like asking those open-ended questions so they can direct where the conversation goes?
Exactly. You're giving them space to share what they think and feel without feeling pressured or like they're being interrogated.
That's smart. It's like you're subtly taking control by making them feel like they're in control.
Yeah.
Okay, what about the next step, rapport? How do you actually build that with someone, especially if you're trying to get them on your side?
Building rapport is more than just mirroring and deferring. It's about finding that common ground, seeing what you both like, and showing that you're genuinely interested in their point of view.
So you're not pretending to be someone you're not, but you're finding those real points of connection. Right.
Exactly. And the more genuine you are, the more willing they'll be to open up.
This is fascinating. It feels like we're uncovering the secrets of human interaction, figuring out how to build those strong connections. What's next in this SAD-RAT framework?
Ask. This is where that genuine curiosity comes in. Ask those thoughtful questions that show you care about what they think, how they feel, and their experiences, and really listen to what they say.
So not grilling them with questions, but showing you really want to hear what they have to say.
Exactly. Active listening is crucial. Pay attention to their words, but also their tone and body language. Try to understand the emotions behind what they're saying.
This is valuable. It's like we're learning to read between the lines, to see the unspoken messages in everything people do. Okay, so smile, acknowledge, defer, rapport, and ask. What's the final piece of ISI-ADAT?
Trust. This is the ultimate goal, and you can't force it or fake it. Trust has to be earned through what you do and your real intentions.
So it's about showing you're trustworthy over time.
Precisely. Be reliable, keep your promises, show that you have their best interests in mind. And remember, trust is fragile. It can be easily broken if you're dishonest or betray them.
Okay, this SAD-RT thing is pure gold. It's like a masterclass on building trust and influence. What other cool things did these CIA experts share about navigating, the world of human interaction?
One of the most interesting topics is understanding core motivations. It's about being able to quickly see what drives someone and using that to influence them.
Whoa, this sounds like mind reading. Are you saying we can actually figure out what makes people tick?
It's not mind reading. It takes careful observation and understanding how people think. The expert identifies 4 core motivators: money, ideology, ego, and security.
Okay, money, ideology, ego, and security. So you're saying that everyone is driven by some mix of these things.
Exactly. And if you can figure out which ones are strongest in a specific person, it can give you a huge advantage in any conversation.
So, for example, if I want someone to support my project, I should first try to figure out which of these motivations matter most to them.
Right. If they're all about money, you highlight how your project will benefit them financially. If they're driven by ideology, you focus on the values and principles that match their beliefs.
This is genius. It's like having a secret decoder for human behavior. So
Yeah.
if you can crack the code of someone's core motivations, you can tailor your communication to connect with them on a deeper level.
Exactly. And this brings us to another fascinating point from these interviews, the power of polarity.
Right, you mentioned this earlier. This is the idea that it's sometimes good to be a little controversial, right?
It's not about being intentionally provocative. It's more about being true to what you believe and letting that shape your actions and your communication.
Hmm.
Remember those examples we mentioned, Steve Jobs, Elon Musk? They weren't afraid to take a strong stance and have people disagree.
Yeah, and it seemed to work out pretty well for them. But how does that apply to us? Do we have to become rebels to be successful?
It's not about being a rebel. It's about being true to yourself and letting that show. When you're authentic, you naturally attract people who share your values, even if you push some people away.
So instead of trying to make everyone happy, you're focused on those deep connections with people who really get you.
Exactly. And by embracing your own unique point of view, you become more memorable and have a bigger impact.
That's empowering. It's like we're getting permission to be ourselves, even if it means ruffling some feathers along the way.
And that authenticity is what makes you stand out in a world full of people.
This is incredible. I feel like we're just scratching the surface of all the amazing insights in these interviews.
So we're back and still digging into the secrets of CIA strategies and how they can be applied to your everyday life.
Yeah, I'm ready for more. It's like getting a cheat code for life, except the cheat code is a deep understanding of human behavior.
And we're just getting started. We're going to explore some even more mind-blowing stuff, including the CIA's perspective on handling fear and anxiety.
Okay, I think we could all use some help with that. What do they have to say about managing those feelings?
Well, this one expert actually says that anxiety can be a superpower.
A superpower. That's not how I usually think about anxiety.
Right. It seems counterintuitive, but they see it as a sign of being really aware and alert, which can be super valuable in certain situations.
So it's not about trying to eliminate anxiety completely, but learning how to channel it.
Exactly. The key is to reframe how you think about anxiety. Instead of seeing it as a weakness, see it as a signal that you're engaged, that you care.
Okay, I'm starting to see how that could be helpful. But how do we actually reframe our thinking about anxiety? How do we turn it from a foe into a friend?
One technique they use is fear inoculation.
Fear inoculation. That sounds intense. What does that even mean?
It's based on the idea that being exposed to small controlled doses of fear can actually make you more resilient. Think of it like a vaccine for fear.
So by gradually exposing ourselves to stuff that makes us uncomfortable, we can build up a tolerance for anxiety.
Precisely. And as you get more used to those uncomfortable feelings, you'll be better equipped to handle unexpected challenges and perform under pressure.
That makes a lot of sense. Like anything else, the more you practice, the better you get. But what about those times when anxiety feels totally overwhelming? What do we do then?
One thing they recommend is focusing on your physiological response. When you feel that anxiety surge, pay attention to your breath. Are you holding it? Are you breathing really shallowly?
Oh, yeah. I totally notice that I hold my breath when I'm stressed.
That's a normal reaction. And by just becoming aware of your breath, you can start to regulate your nervous system. Try taking a few deep, slow breaths. Focus on the rise and fall of your chest.
Okay, so deep breathing can help calm that physical response. What else can we do to manage those overwhelming feelings of anxiety?
They also suggest something called thought challenging. When you're feeling anxious, notice those thoughts running through your mind. Are they negative, catastrophic? Are they based on facts or just assumptions?
Oh, yeah. My mind definitely goes to those worst-case scenarios when I'm anxious.
That's pretty common. And by consciously challenging those negative thoughts, you can start to change your perspective. Ask yourself, is this thought really true? What evidence supports it? What's a more balanced way to think about this situation?
It's like we're becoming detectives of our own thoughts, like putting them on trial to see if they hold up.
Exactly. And a lot of times you'll realize those anxious thoughts are based on fear, not facts.
This is empowering. It feels like we're getting the tools to control our minds and manage our emotions.
And that's a crucial skill, not just for dealing with anxiety, but for navigating life in general.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've covered fear inoculation, deep breathing, and thought challenging. What else did those CIA experts share about managing fear?
One thing they really stress is understanding the difference between fear and danger.
Okay, that seems subtle. What's the difference?
Fear is an emotional response to a perceived threat, you know? Danger is a real and present threat to your safety or well-being.
So fear is in our heads, while danger is an actual external threat.
Exactly. And often we feel fear in situations that aren't actually dangerous.
So, like, I might be afraid of public speaking, but it's not going to put me in physical danger.
Precisely. And recognizing that difference can be really freeing. When you feel fear, ask yourself, is this actually dangerous? Or am I just feeling fear because of my thoughts or past experiences?
That's a great question to ask. It helps put things in perspective and avoid getting, swept up in the fear. Okay, so we've gone over the CIA's approach to managing fear and anxiety. What other mind-blowing stuff do these interviews have for us?
Well, how about a former CIA officer's perspective on managing money and relationships?
Ooh, that's juicy. Do they have, like, secret spy techniques for building wealth and finding love?
They don't have all the answers, but they do offer some interesting insights into the psychology of money and relationships.
Okay, tell me more. What do they have to say about it?
One of the experts argues that men should generally take the lead in paying for the first few dates.
Really? You're saying there's a CIA-backed reason for not splitting the bill? I thought that was, like, outdated.
Well, not exactly CIA-backed, but this expert suggests it can be a way for men to show they're able and willing to provide.
So it's a subtle way of showing they're capable and dependable.
Exactly. And they suggest that this can create a sense of security and comfort for women, especially early on in dating.
That's an interesting perspective. But what about people who see this as outdated or even sexist?
Yeah, the expert acknowledges this might not resonate with everyone and emphasizes that open communication is key. What really matters is that both people feel comfortable and respected.
It makes sense. It's about finding what works for both people involved.
Right. And speaking of balance, they also talk about the different money personalities people have, which can be super helpful for navigating those money talks, especially in romantic relationships.
Okay, you mentioned this before. Money personalities. What exactly are we talking about here?
They break it down into 4 types: worriers, dreamers, optimizers, and independents.
So each personality type has a different approach to money and spending.
Exactly. For example, worriers are all about security and stability. They want to know they have enough and often focus on saving and planning for the future.
So probably not a good idea to suggest a spontaneous weekend trip to Vegas to a worrier.
Probably not. With a worrier, you'd want to emphasize responsible financial planning and show that you're on the same page about long-term goals.
Got it. What about dreamers? Are they all about living in the moment and YOLO?
Dreamers can be a little more impulsive. They often believe success is just one big breakaway and might be into get-rich-quick schemes. They might need a little help staying grounded and focused on building wealth sustainably.
So maybe not the most reliable when it comes to budgeting or long-term financial planning. What about optimizers? Are they the ones who are always maximizing their credit card rewards and hunting down the best deals?
Exactly. Optimizers are all about efficiency and getting the most bang for their buck. They love finding ways to improve their finances and are always trying to do things better, love a good deal, and are always figuring out how to stretch their money.
Sounds like they'd be great at managing a household budget. What about independence? What motivates them?
Independents value their financial freedom and independence above everything else. They want to be in control of their money and make their own decisions. They're the least likely to ask for financial help or advice.
Wow, this is fascinating. I never realized there were so many different ways to think about money. It's like a whole new level of understanding human behavior.
And remember, these are just broad categories. Most people are a mix of different money personalities. The point is to recognize these tendencies in yourself and others so you can communicate better and avoid unnecessary conflict.
This is seriously valuable stuff. Okay, so we've talked about managing fear, dating advice, and money personalities. What other groundbreaking insights are waiting for us in these interviews?
Well, one expert gave a warning about global tensions and the need to be prepared for a changing world.
Ooh, this sounds interesting. What kind of warning are we talking about?
This former CIA officer suggested that it might be smart to think about leaving the USA before 2030.
Whoa, seriously, that's a bold statement. What's their reasoning behind that?
They point to the growing rivalry between the United States and China, arguing that this could lead to more instability and potential conflict in the coming years. They see China's growing economic and military power as a direct challenge to U.S. dominance.
So it's like a modern-day Cold War.
In some ways, yeah, and they believe this competition could spill over into other areas, potentially creating a more volatile world.
Okay, that's definitely something to consider. Leaving the USA, that's a huge decision. Do they have any advice on how to prepare for these potential changes?
They emphasize diversifying your assets and having a plan B in case things go south.
You mentioned diversifying assets earlier when we talked about money personalities.
Yeah.
Is that connected to this leave the USA idea? What kind of diversification would be helpful even if someone decides to stay put?
Diversification is a powerful strategy no matter where you are. It could include looking into living and working in other countries, investing in assets outside the U.S., or even learning skills that are in high demand globally.
So it's like having a backup plan, but it's also about expanding your options and having more flexibility.
Precisely. It's about being proactive and not putting all your eggs in one basket.
This is some seriously thought-provoking stuff. It's like we're peeking into the minds of people who are trained to think about worst-case scenarios and plan for them.
Exactly. And while their views might seem extreme to some, I think it's valuable to at least consider their arguments and think about how we can be more resilient in the face of uncertainty.
Definitely. It's like they're saying, hope for the best, but prepare for the worst.
Precisely. And that kind of thinking can be really empowering, even if you never have to actually use your plan B.
Okay, so we've covered some pretty heavy topics here. Global tensions, money personalities, managing fear, even potentially leaving the USA. What else can we look forward to in these interviews?
Well, how about a deep dive into the psychology of success and high achievement?
I'm always down to learn how to level up. What insights did they have on this topic?
One expert shared a fascinating observation about the link between childhood trauma and high performance.
Wait, are you saying that going through trauma can actually make you more successful?
It's not that simple. They're not saying trauma is necessary for success, but they do recognize that certain experiences can shape people in ways that make them more resilient, adaptable, and driven to achieve.
So they're not glorifying trauma, but acknowledging that it can be a springboard for growth and change.
Exactly. They might be more comfortable with risk, better at handling pressure, and more motivated to create a better life for themselves.
That's a really interesting perspective. It's like turning a negative experience into a positive trait.
It's not about ignoring the pain of trauma, but recognizing that our experiences, both good and bad, shape who we are.
This is deep stuff. It's like we're seeing how our past can influence our present and future.
Exactly. And it's a reminder that everyone has a story, and those stories can shape us in ways we might not even realize.
Okay, so we've talked about global instability, money personalities, the psychology of trauma, and managing fear like a CIA agent.
Yeah.
Is there anything else in these interviews that might challenge conventional thinking?
Well, how about this? One expert talked about his time as a young man working on a team that was responsible for launching nuclear missiles.
Whoa, seriously, that sounds intense. What was it like having that kind of responsibility so young?
He described it as a deeply unsettling and ultimately disillusioning experience. He spent years living 100 feet underground, waiting for the order to potentially unleash unimaginable destruction.
That's heavy. It's like something out of a Cold War thriller.
Exactly. And he talks about how this experience changed his view on life and led him to find a more meaningful and fulfilling path.
So it's like he went from controlling the most powerful weapons on Earth to wanting to make a positive impact on the world. What a transformation.
It's a reminder that even in the darkest places, there's always hope, and we all have the power to choose a different path.
This is incredible. It's like we're getting a glimpse into the lives of people who have seen the very best and the very worst of humanity. All right, welcome back. I'm still thinking about all those amazing insights we've uncovered,
Yeah.
from managing fear to figuring out money personalities. This has been a wild ride.
And we're not done yet. We've got more to unpack in this final part of our deep dive into the minds of former CIA spies and other, fascinating people.
Okay, bring on the grand finale. What other secrets are they going to reveal?
Well, one expert shared this framework called the intelligence cycle. Basically, it's how intelligence agencies gather information, analyze it, and use it.
Intelligence cycle, huh?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a spy movie thing. What's so special about it?
It's actually a process you can use in everyday life. You start by collecting like raw data, then you turn that data into insights, and finally you use those insights to make decisions.
So instead of just reacting to things, we can be more strategic by actually gathering information and analyzing it to make smarter choices.
Exactly. It's about becoming more intentional with your thoughts and actions.
That's a game changer. It's like having a secret weapon to navigate life.
Okay, what else did they say about leveling up our decision making?
They also stress the importance of challenging our assumptions and biases. It's easy to get stuck in our ways of thinking, but if we actively seek out different perspectives, we can broaden our understanding and make better choices.
That reminds me of what we were talking about with perception versus perspective. It's
Yeah.
like we all have our biases, but if we acknowledge them and are open to other viewpoints, we can avoid making decisions based on like limited information.
Exactly. It's about always questioning our assumptions and looking for new information that might challenge what we already believe.
So it's like a never-ending process of learning and growing.
Exactly. And speaking of growth, one expert had a really cool take on the importance of embracing discomfort and pushing past our comfort zones.
Okay, I'm listening. Why is discomfort so important for growth? They argue that real transformation happens when we challenge ourselves and step outside of what's, familiar. It's in those moments of discomfort that we discover our true potential.
So it's like that saying, life begins at the end of your comfort zone. But honestly, sometimes my comfort zone feels pretty comfy. How do we actually make ourselves embrace those uncomfortable feelings?
Start small, find something that makes you a little uncomfortable, and then just do it.
Just like slowly expose yourself to discomfort in manageable doses.
Exactly. As you get more comfortable with discomfort, you can slowly increase the challenge. It's like building a muscle, but for your mind.
I love that. So it's not about seeking out unnecessary pain, but about understanding that discomfort often means we're stretching and growing.
Exactly. And the more you do it, the easier it'll be to push your limits and take on new challenges.
That's a powerful mindset shift. Okay, so we've talked about the intelligence cycle, challenging our biases, and embracing discomfort. What other amazing insights did these experts give?
Well, how about this? One expert talked about this unique experience that led him to a career in the CIA. He was applying to the Peace Corps when, get this, he got a mysterious pop-up on his computer screen.
A pop-up. You're saying the CIA recruits people through pop-up ads. That's crazy.
Well, it was a message from a government recruiter inviting them to check out a different opportunity. Turned out to be a perfect fit. He had the skills and the mindset the CIA was looking for.
Wow. So you just never know where life might take you, or how a simple pop-up could change your whole destiny.
Exactly. And it reminds us that sometimes the most unexpected opportunities can lead us to our true calling.
That's inspiring, because be open to new possibilities, even if they come from the most random places.
And be willing to step outside your comfort zone and explore those opportunities. You never know where they might lead.
This has been an amazing journey. We've covered everything from global strategies to the psychology of dating, all from the perspective of CIA experts.
And what's really cool is how these insights can be used in so many parts of life.
It's like we've been given a toolkit for success, packed with strategies and techniques that can help us reach our goals, build better relationships, and navigate this, complex world.
And remember, the most important tool is your own mind. Keep learning, keep exploring, and keep pushing yourself to grow.
Couldn't agree more. This deep dive has been eye-opening. It's a reminder that knowledge is power, and we all have the potential to be extraordinary. And as always, keep learning.